Hello, and welcome to the September 14th weekly JupyterLab call. Today we have 16 people on the call, and let's see. Oh, we have an actual full agenda. That's nice. If you just joined the call, if there's something you'd like to talk about, please add a bullet point to the agenda that's linked in the chat. And even if you don't, please sign in. And with that, why don't we get started? The first person on the agenda today is Jason W.
Hey everyone, just a quick public service announcement from the security team. We met yesterday. All members of the JupyterLab org on GitHub need to have 2FA enabled. So if you have not done this by the end of the month, we're just going to remove you from the JupyterLab org. This only affects people with permissions to do things like apply labels and merge code in. Anybody in the world can still submit a pull request. We just won't let you merge in if you don't have 2FA turned on. Frederick has his hand up.
Hey, sorry, I don't have videos, but I can speak at least.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
No, it's just to mention, we've pinged the people that were in the organization through a private discussion. Just to mention that there were some people that were not contacted with that message, because some of the people that have rights on JupyterLab repository are not in the organization, and so I didn't add them to the organization, just to mention them that they may be kicked out because they don't have 2FA. But like, it's a few numbers of people, and as I forget, but the message that is sent also when 2FA will be enabled, I think is nice enough for the user to know that they can reapply if needed. That was just
Yeah, I'm saying this on this recording so that if folks get kicked out and they weren't expecting to, you can always re-enable 2FA and reapply. It shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, this is not a punitive thing. This is just securing the doors. And so if it turns out that you got locked out, that's fine. Just ask for the keys.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Any other questions about the 2FA stuff?
Okay, great. Thanks, Jason.
Frederick's still got his hand up, but he's also next on the agenda.
Yeah, Fred, you are up.
Sorry for the end. I think you discussed this even if I was not there last week. So I have opened an issue for listing features that people would like to see in a new minor version of JupyterLab. So feel free to add items to the issue, or add comments to the issue if you cannot edit directly the first post. The idea is to freeze the list at the next meeting, so we'll review the list by next meeting to see what are the features that we are really gonna use for 3.5. So that's just the announcement. Second announcement is that we have, is it SSC or SCC? I forget now. For the software steering console, that's correct. For now, we have received 3 propositions. So if other people want to submit nomination, don't hesitate to do it. Normally, people that are on the console should have received an email with the form to use for that. If not, please reach me. I will send the link again. And the last point I want to discuss, this one, I think it was some month ago, I brought the idea of adding the GitHub sponsor button to JupyterLab repository. They are doing that in CondaForge, and it redirects to a specific donation page for CondaForge. And we have such a specific page for Jupyter too. And so I just want to ask again, just before doing it, because this time I'm gonna do it if people are okay with that. So the idea is really just to have a button on the GitHub repository homepage of project, and that button is redirecting the user to the donation page on NetFocus.
Does anyone know of a reason not to do this? I don't really understand the ramifications, but it seems like it's fine. We're linking to a page that already exists. It seems like a nice thing to do. Anyone have any thoughts on it? Yeah, Isabel.
Yeah, I think I agree. My main question would be, is it like undoable? I think that's always good to know when making these decisions. Like, can it be turned off again? Is there anything like that we should be aware of?
Oh, it's you're proposing just adding a link on the README, is that right, Fred?
It's not on the README. It's gonna be on the sidebar next to the code list on the home page. It's like
Oh,
you know, like you have the link to the releases, and it's adding a new section over there. And
okay.
definitely, it's a checkbox in the settings. So I presume if we unchecked it, then the button would disappear. I haven't tried, but I assume it's on-off features. Yeah.
Okay. How about this? Does anyone object? If not, I think Fred's gonna do it. I didn't hear any objections there. Cool.
Good. Then I'll do it, and then in a couple of months we can try to reach for non-focus to see if lots of money has come, and then decide what
Yeah.
to do with it.
Cool. So one point about the SSC rep, because we want to pick the representative for JupyterLab by October 3rd, and because we want votes to have a week to take place, I propose that next week's call is the deadline for making any nominations. So that will take us to September 21st, which puts us 7 more days, will be the 28th. And let's put a little bit of wiggle room there between then and October 3rd. So yeah, if you have any one in mind, just double check with them, make sure they're willing to do it, and then nominate them. And then soon after next week's call, we can produce a ballot and send it out to the sub-project council. The other implication of that is that if there's someone you want to nominate to be on the JupyterLab council, you could do it at any time. But if you do it today, they will be voted on and presumably in the JupyterLab council in time for you to nominate them for the SSC. So there's really only time for one more person to be added to the JupyterLab council if you want them to be a nominee for our software steering council rep. But none of these things are permanent anyway. So we can make a decision about how long we think our SSC reps term should be. And that's not written in the governance docs anyway. That's a choice that we make. So I don't have personally an idea. I think Jason W, didn't you just say that the security sub-project decided that your term for the SSC rep would be 1 year? That sounded reasonable to me.
That's right. Yeah, each SSC, each council can decide how long they want their term to be. And so we decided to do 1 year, and we'll reevaluate in the future.
Okay, cool. So maybe we should open a team compass issue to see if anyone has a different idea, but a year sounds reasonable. I wouldn't be surprised if other people agree. But we don't have to make that decision right this second anyway. We have a little bit of time. All right, why don't we move on? Isabella, you are up next.
Hello, hello. It's one of my usual announcements. The Jupyter community call is going to be in 2 weeks. I won't be able to be at this meeting next week, so I wanted to give you a heads up. Unlike the last time I said it was in 2 weeks, I triple checked. I'm correct about the 2 weeks this time. It's September 27th. So yeah, get excited, bring shares. I've linked the community call agenda in today's call agenda, so you can add or find info there because I haven't gotten all the announcements out yet, but I want to make sure people know even when I am out of reach for a few days. So wonderful. Everyone is welcome. If you haven't been to a community call before, it's kind of a big show and tell. So love to see you there, even if it's your first or 50th time. I don't know if there have been 50, but yeah, thank you.
Cool, thanks. Okay, next person on the agenda today is Mehmet.
Hey folks, I just have a quick update on JupyterLab Desktop. I released the new version 346-1, and this updates the bundled JupyterLab to version 346, and it also now bundles IPyWidgets 8 to the bundled Python environment. In this version, we have various UX fixes for small issues. And now you can also opt out of auto updates on Mac. You will be still notified for updates, but auto download and auto install on restart can be turned off now. Yeah, that's basically what I have.
Cool.
Thanks a lot, Mehmet, for taking care of the maintenance of that.
Sure.
I guess I am next. So I have been working on Lumino 2 and migrating Jupyter Notebook and JupyterLab to Lumino 2 alphas, and there have been a few stumbling blocks. One of them is that Lumino doesn't really have as comprehensive a test suite as I think we need. So there were 1 or 2 regressions that didn't get flagged. I didn't see, the reviewers didn't see, and we published in alphas. Luckily, they're all alphas, so it's not like the worst thing. But sort of frustratingly, most of these are bugs that don't generate errors. They just are things that don't work, which is hard to debug. But I fixed one of them today, which was resizing in the dock panel wasn't working. One thing that isn't working in lab, but is working in just pure Lumino is closing tabs in a tab bar. Yeah, it's not throwing an error, but it's not completing. I sort of set that to the side for a minute because I saw this other bug and went to handle it, but now I'm back trying to figure out what's going on there. Once we have that, we'll publish another alpha, update lab, publish another alpha of lab, then update notebook, because these are sequentially dependent on each other. If you have any interest in working on this stuff, there's a bunch of outstanding issues in the Lumino repo. There's a project, a GitHub project that just tracks a bunch of these things, and help is most welcome and wanted. And that's it for me. Do we have, well, does anyone have any questions about this?
So since Lumino was originally written, there's been a bunch of development on test automation and these things in the JupyterLab. We have all of this, a lot of stuff in other like browser, better ways of writing tests for some UI stuff. Do you think Lumino should adopt some of those frameworks for testing?
Please, yes. I just don't want to do it. But yeah, absolutely, especially with things like drag and drop or resize or things that are interactions. We could use more sophisticated tools that actually allow us to test those things. We were working with a more limited set of tools when they were first written, and I think we just kept those initial tests and added where we could. But for example, the resizing of things in the doc panel, it's kind of a core feature of the doc panel. There's no test that catches that. So there's no test that caught that you just can't resize things in, Alpha 5, but you can in Alpha, well, you will be able to in Alpha 6 now that it's fixed. So yeah, if somebody wanted to spend a little bit of time and, write some real tests that are testing that interactivity, that would be amazing. Okay, we don't have anything in the additional discussion section. We don't have anything else in the agenda. Is there anything that someone was maybe holding off on that would like to talk about? I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. Yeah, Fred.
It's more a question for Vidar. I saw you were starting to type something about test and then removed it. It's just
Yeah, I figured it's better to probably do it offline than to introduce to include everybody. It's
Okay.
just some performance regression in the 3-4x. It was about benchmarking. So there was a performance regression in 3-4x for, I think, for a case that isn't really covered by the benchmarks. So I was mostly, I want to probably add another case there, but I realized also from last week that it's mostly you who know about the benchmark stuff, so it's probably just more efficient for everybody's time if I just contact you directly about it.
Okay, sounds good for me.
All right, folks, this is the last call. Is there anything anybody would like to discuss? That's cool. I'm going to stop the recording just in case anyone wants to make any announcements. So brace yourselves.